Good afternoon, good morning, depending on the time zone you're watching this video from. Welcome to this our stream. So today's finding, guys. Today I happen to do a pre-purchase inspection. As usual, I told you this is this channel where we do pre-purchase inspection, assessment, inspection, valuation of all kind of vehicles, be it a private vehicle, be it a commercial vehicle, be it a truck, be it a prime mover. We do all those. So today I happen to do a pre-purchase inspection of one of my clients, and that makes the basis of today's discussion here. So after road test, I found some noise on the suspension system, front left side suspension system, and that one led me to take that vehicle and put it in a vibrating machine. There's a vibrating machine, as you can look here. So the vibrating machine vibrated that suspension system, the left side suspension system, and I was able to note that okay, that vehicle, it's an import vehicle. It's not a locally used vehicle, it's an import vehicle. But you see, even in this imported vehicle, they are not that 100% sure. There are vehicles that are normally used in the up countries, then they are brought to our country. They're normally 6 years used. Some countries, depending on some countries, use the vehicles for 6 years. Then the vehicles are brought here for us to use. In other words, we normally use Mutumba vehicles. So today's finding was the suspension system of that vehicle was producing some noise. So everything was okay. I checked, everything was okay, but now the only problem was that suspension system. So after putting that vehicle on that vibrating machine, we noted that the shock was having some loose nuts on the shock mounting. On top of that shock mounting, as you can see here, it was loose. So we had to adjust that mounting, because now the client was interested in that vehicle. You see, now in ideal loss assessors, not that we come to your showroom to dispute everything. Wanasema give Caesars what belongs to Caesars. Kama kitu iko sawa, iko sawa. So that vehicle was okay, but just those small adjustment of the suspension system that was needed. So after putting that machine, we adjusted that shock. So see it, nikikuja kwa showroom yako unaanza kusema, you see, there's a trend going on that showroom owners nowadays, they try to stop pre-purchase inspectors to their workshop, because there are some pre-purchase inspectors that are biased. And for us here at Ideal Loss Assessors, we say the truth as it is. Kama kitu iko mbaya, we just tell you this thing is this way, it need to be adjusted, it need to be replaced. We also advise our clients, so it's upon the client to decide whether to go on with the business or not. So if we happen to come to your business and the client maybe decides not to go on with the deal that you've had agreed, it's not our fault. So we only did our due diligence. So like in this our client, the shock was adjusted and it was good to go. So this thing after doing that adjustment, so I decided leo wacha nikuje niwapatie my head ups. You can drive even in the morning when you're starting your vehicle, you feel some noise, you don't know what that is, you don't have knowledge of vehicles, any idea, but that is where now we are here. We come tell you what is happening with your vehicle. If you need pre-purchase inspection, if you need a private inspection, just a view on your vehicle, not a must that once you hear your noise that there are major things that happen. But if you're not keen, those small happening or events or change in your vehicle may lead to catastrophic event. Like for suspension system, I normally tell my clients, don't mess with the suspension. If you feel something that is not right, if you feel something that you've not been feeling it, kindly let your vehicle be checked. If you're having long journeys, if you're having long travels, call me to pre-inspect your vehicle. See, if the suspension system, and that is the moving part of your vehicle, dislodge or disconnect disconnect from the chassis, my friend, that's a fatal accident. So guys, dialyze to do pre-purchase. It's not that expensive, so something that is you can just something that takes around 15 minutes 30 minutes to check should not cause you that extensive or much damage. So after doing that, I decided let's come and do this. So there are noises that I'm going to play, and I will be telling you, or the video I play here will also indicate the findings that are on specific noise that comes from your suspension system. Like now, for this one here, there was a shock. If you hear this noise in your vehicle, you are driving a vehicle, you are hitting a pothole, and you hear this kind of noise, that is a shock that is worn out. So guys, shocks, depending on where you buy, they're not that much expensive. So realize you buy and change. So another thing, if you hear this noise, that is a brake pad. The brake pad is very vital. The brake pad and brake disc, they work hand in hand. So if you hear this noise, just know that is a brake pad that is worn out. Number 3, this noise you hear here, this is the noise of a CV joint. A CV joint is normally connected to a drive shaft. A drive shaft has 2 ends. There's an end that enters to the housing, that is the engine itself, and that one that enters to the hub. So like here, this is the noise that comes from a CV joint. So, and how does a CV joint get worn out? It's very simple. A CV joint gets worn out due to rust. There are small things that we ignore in our day-to-day life and operation of our vehicles that end up costing us a lot. On a drive shaft, there are two rubber boots. That one that covers the universal joint that joins to the block, and that one that covers the joints that enters to the hub. So those boot rubbers are things that goes around 1,500 to 2,000. If they're worn out, let's check them. The boot rubber is very important. It holds the grease. That grease is the one that lubricates the moving part of that CV joint. So if the boot is worn out or it's leaking, it leaks all the grease, leading to your CV joints to be to maybe rust. And then long run, CV joints, you hear that noise. Number 4 or number 3, tire dents, brackets. Tire dents and brackets are very important. On your steering rack, the steering rack keeps on moving, and that is the most vital part in your vehicle, in controlling the vehicle, giving the direction of your vehicle. If you want to turn left, you turn left. If you turn right, turn right. The tire dent and brackets are very vital. They work on, that is their work. So if you hear this noise, just know that is tire dent or racken. There are two. There is an inner tire dent and outer. There are 2 tire dents. So depending on what you see, after removing it, maybe you can know if it's the outer or the inner one that is worn out. So guys, that is number 4 or number 3. Number 4. So we have the control arm. The control arm is very important in a suspension system. The control arm is the one that holds the tire to the chassis of a vehicle. So if you hear this noise, know that is a control arm that is worn out. Control arm are normally not replaced. It has bushes. It has bushes. There are 2 bushes that are normally that normally connects to the chassis of that vehicle, 2, and 1 that connects to the outer. That one connects to the hubs and of that the knuckle arm of that suspension system. So if they are worn out, change the bushes and you're good to go. Number 6 or 5, stabilizer link. stabilizer link are normally one that are like an L on it. It's normally mounted on like this one now. It's normally mounted on the shock and stabilizer bar. So if you hear this noise, that is a stabilizer link that is worn out. The importance of that stabilizer link, it works as it controls or absorbs the swaying of that vehicle. After you've turned your vehicle, that's a component that makes sure that the stability of that vehicle is maintained and touches the road well is the stabilizer link. Another thing is the wheel disc. If you hear this noise, that is a wheel disc that is worn out. The wheel disc is that plate that is round. So the mechanism, the importance of that wheel disc, it act as the target of brake pads. When you see the operation of a braking system, when you press the pedal of a vehicle, when you want the vehicle to stop, you press the pedal. That your pressure transmits to the brake fluid. The brake fluid is a fluid that is not it's not compressible, so it transfer all the pressure to the wheel caliper. So the brake fluid, after the pressure reaches the wheel caliper, the caliper pushes the brake pads to the wheel disc. So that pressure, there's a friction between the wheel disc and the brake pads. So that friction is the brake pads and the wheel disc produces, there's a there's a huge friction that is normally produced there, and due to the material of the brake pad, you can't feel the friction. The material of that brake pad normally made of asbestos, so you can't feel that friction. So the friction force is converted to that pressure pushes the wheel disc to the brake pads, converting kinetic energy of your vehicle to heat. That is how your vehicle stops. So guys, for pre-purchase inspection, as I always tells you, Ideal Loss Assessors is your home. Let's build this home. So guys, they are like to contact us if you're having you want to buy a vehicle. So like these are our clients. A very small thing can cost you a lot. Assume the client took this vehicle without doing pre-purchase inspection, without contacting us. Then you buy a vehicle, willing buyer, willing seller, you're given a vehicle. Then when you drive a short distance, you're having issues. The shock dislodged. When the shock dislodged, then you start swerving the vehicle left, right, and then you find yourself in a very nasty accident. So guys, the idea is to do pre-purchase inspection. It's not that expensive. At a small fee, 6,500, we get you covered. So guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Let's meet in our next video. Stay tuned. Don't touch that dial.